What if Rome wasn't just a historical footnote, but instead was a global superpower that never fell? In this alternate history, Rome keeps on trucking, quite literally. Those famous Roman roads would be, well, quite literally, the roads less traveled, connecting the entire Mediterranean world and beyond in a network of smooth stone highways. Roman aqueducts would continue to supply fresh water to growing cities and sprawling agricultural estates. Roman law, codified and applied equally throughout the empire, would shape the entire world, and that advanced Roman military would continue to conquer and pacify the entire globe. Latin, the language of Rome, would evolve into the global lingua franca, kind of like English in our timeline, and because of its influence, Romance languages like Spanish, French, and Italian might sound very different or not exist at all. Instead, everyone from London to Delhi to Carthage speaks Latin, and that's got a big effect on our world. Most of Europe doesn't enter a Dark Ages because that term actually refers to the period after the fall of Rome, when most people in Europe couldn't read and schools were closed. But if Rome never falls, there's no interruption in the advancement of science, mathematics, and culture. By the 8th century, Islamic scholars are translating Greek and Roman texts into Arabic and building on that classical knowledge. By the 10th century, Baghdad is the center of the universe, home to great libraries, beautiful mosques and gardens, and the starting point for westward expansion into Europe. By 1453, instead of conquering Constantinople, Mehmet the Conqueror is more interested in trade than destruction, and so he welcomes the scholarly refugees from sacked Constantinople and makes a deal with the Pope to control the city and protect the Eastern Church. In exchange, the Ottomans get trading rights in the Mediterranean, and that means no massive influx of gold into Europe to kickstart the Renaissance. That economic and cultural boom instead happens in the Middle East, North Africa, and the Iberian Peninsula. But let's take it further. What if Rome's armies don't just conquer the known world, but keep on trucking, taking on the biggest empires in history, the Mongol horde and the gunpowder empires of China and Japan? A century of peace between Rome and China ends when Rome invades first and conquers both. By the year 2000, the Roman Empire encompasses the entirety of Eurasia and the Americas and rules over 2 billion people. Early Christianity spreads throughout the vast empire, but without the influence of the Eastern Church, the Pope in Rome has no rival and becomes the supreme leader of a unified Christian world. Other religions like Islam, Buddhism, and Judaism survive, but are kept in check by Roman law. And there is no Reformation because the Roman Catholic Church has too much power to be challenged. Modern France, Germany, and Britain don't exist. Gaul is still a Roman province, and the Germanic tribes are either incorporated into the Roman army or pushed across the Rhine. The British Isles are united under Roman rule, and the native Celts are either enslaved or pushed into the sea. Without the cultural and political boundaries created by the collapse of Rome, Europe is transformed. The continent is densely populated and highly urbanized. Without the Black Death, which arrived in Europe via ships from Asia, the population of Rome alone might reach 10 million. If Rome conquers the Americas, it does it a century before Columbus, because the natives have been using pack animals for thousands of years. Romans have been traveling to the New World for decades, mining precious metals and claiming land for Rome. Rome conquers Polynesia, Australia, and New Zealand as well. And by the year 1600, the Polynesian islands are linked together in a single Roman province. Steam power, electricity, and even flight are invented by Roman engineers, but they're too expensive and impractical for widespread use. Roman roads, aqueducts, and buildings last for centuries because no one's around to destroy them, and so the world progresses much faster. The population explosion that happened in our timeline because of the agricultural revolution instead occurs in the 18th and 19th centuries in this alternate timeline, leading to an even more densely populated and urbanized world. So would an eternal Rome usher in a golden age of progress? Or would it be a dark age of tyranny under one ruthless empire? You decide in the comments below.